Hey everybody, this is the One Bun, aka Asher the Kingdom Hall Crasher, and I'm with Marcus.
Yeah.
You guys all know Marcus, don't you? If you don't, well, go find out. Go look up his channel. It's Marcus Vaughn. He's really interesting. He's actually an ex-Bethelite. Pretty cool shit.
Yeah, so we on?
Oh yeah, we're on.
Anybody on there?
Not yet, but I'm sure they're gonna pop on in just a second. They probably
So with
will.
the live stream, it's not like recording a video, it's just
Sort of. I mean, you're recording a video, but you're recording it as it's happening. So that's pretty cool. Let me see here. I am gonna.
so it's not a video that we can go back and watch from start to finish.
Yeah, we can.
Oh.
It's pretty cool. It's good stuff. I'm gonna check here to go into the live chat because I actually have to locate the stream itself. You can see the live chat there, and you'll also be able to see it over here on this computer, if I can actually... What? Let me see here. Did I call this test? I don't think I called this test. I hope not. We got 2 people watching right now, and I don't know why this is called test, but it's not supposed to be called test. Alright. Cool. So, we're on. Anyway, yeah. So, earlier, I was, eating some...
Yeah, it was eating some Taco Cabana or whatever. That stuff was pretty good,
It
yeah.
was good. It was good. It's like Mexican fast food, but it's like not. It's a notch above Taco Bell, though, right?
Yeah, everything in I mean, I was about to call Texas Mexico. Everything in Texas, Mexican food wise and barbecue food wise, is probably going to be a step above your average little food spot. Definitely Taco Bell, because after eating some Mexican food here, I don't even think I can eat Taco Bell anymore.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Taco Bell's okay for like munchies and stuff, though.
Tastes nasty to me now after I've already had, you know what I mean, like real good stuff.
Yeah, you're like, after spending some time in San Antonio, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, San Antonio almost is Mexico. I mean, we got a lot of, Hispanic people here. We got also a bunch of other, cultures here too. Actually, we got a good mix.
Yeah, it's pretty diverse. It's definitely more diverse than where I was when I was in Ohio.
Yeah.
Way more diverse.
But yeah, while we were eating, the topic came up of like, you were saying there were a lot more people in California that were ex-JWs,
Oh, yeah.
but they were all spread out, and you were wondering like why they're all spread out, and then we started talking about like the reasons that they still stay in and stuff, and then like it came up like a really good point, but the person who made the point ain't even here. He's
Well, no, you had a good point, because we were talking about why there seems to be so many former witnesses in California. Now, I don't have the exact numbers, but ex-JWs, we get online a lot. So a lot of the people that I know online or have even talked to on the phone, a lot of times they're from Cali. And I'm like, you got all these ex-JWs in Cali. It must be nice. Well, I talked to a few of them and try to find out how often they have get-togethers and things like that. And I find out that Cali is so big that people are a little spread out. So even though there are a lot of ex-JWs in Cali, people are pretty spread out. And then we were just talking about why there are probably so many people that seem to wake up in California.
Yeah.
So nothing major, really. You know what I mean? We were just at Taco Cabana and somebody was like, "Hey, let's make a video." So this ain't really planned out or anything like that. So when if it looks like we don't know what we talking about, it's because we don't know what we talking about.
Yeah, no, we don't know what we're talking about. That's usually the case on this channel, though. I don't know. I never know what I'm talking about. No, actually, I mean,
what's in the bucket? Is it water?
Oh yeah. We got this water filter that this dude built here in this house, and it's really cool. Yeah, it's.
I thought he was drinking some Kool-Aid or something. I'm like,
no, that's water, and I don't know how the whole filter thing works, but that's like a homemade water filter system.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Anyway, sorry for getting all distracted. We have ADD apparently.
No, there's some buckets. A couple of buckets stacked up, and there's a little spigot at the bottom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, what is that?
It's like a little water filter.
And I was doing good. I was staying focused on the live stream and whatnot. But then somebody came over there and got themselves some nice beverage out of them buckets. And then I had to know what the heck was in there. You know what I mean? Could have been some nice beer or something, yeah. But, yeah.
Wow. Sorry, I was just checking it out. Oh, we got a comment from somebody called Marshall Villager. The truth will be exposed. The watchtower will fall. Yeah, let's hope so.
It's already exposed. It's already online.
Yeah, I'm saying let's hope so about it falling. Like, because it's
like all the way completely?
Yeah, it's on the way down. I mean, they're starting to bleed out, right?
Yeah, so for a religion or a church, in my opinion, once it gets to the point where the reputation of that particular religion is so bad, or the people that they have coming in become so minuscule, that like that religion, whether it be Scientology or Watchtower, it gets to the point where it will never become mainstream. Like it'll never become big. It'll never become the Baptist church, or even as well known as a Pentecostal church. It's like pretty much dead in the water outside of remote areas in Africa where they may not have the information we have, or remote areas and other places. Now I'll notice that, I don't know Spanish, but it seems like around here at least, the Spanish is pretty big. So that's one thing that might be a concern. In English, it's dying out. It's definitely dying out. Because Kingdom Halls back in Ohio, where I'm from, are consolidating at an alarming rate, and you also have congregations all over doing the same thing in other states, because I'm hearing the same thing from a lot of people. But I haven't heard from anyone in the Spanish. What's going on in the Spanish? Is that getting bigger, or is that starting to shrink also? And I don't know how many websites we have with the truth about the truth in Spanish. I don't know how many people in the XJW community speak Spanish as far as exposing Watchtower. So that's something that's kind of interesting.
Oh, look. Here comes.
Don't look.
Captain Apostate.
I'm not here yet.
He's here. He's just, mentally in still. I'm just kidding.
Asher is funny. Y'all, Asher is funny. Asher cracks me up.
He's over there powering up right now.
Asher cracks on the captain over here, and I'm like trying to fight to hold the laughter in. You know what I mean?
Feel free to laugh. He doesn't mind. He's used to it.
One thing y'all notice if y'all ever hang with Asher, hilarious.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Heart of Stone, completely evil.
No, hilarious. Cracks me up. Super freaking funny. And I think what it is, it's the profanity at key moments. Like you're having a conversation, and you might be having a conversation about your grandmother.
Fuck you.
Exactly. And then all of a sudden an F-bomb. My effing grandmother. And it's like, I didn't expect that. And I just start laughing. It's certain things that
my drug dealing grandma
just make you laugh. It's kind of out of the blue. And
okay. I'm not sure how we're going to get you into the frame, man.
That's okay.
Y'all need to see the captain over there. Like,
get next to Marcus. That's pretty much the only way.
Oh, I can move, and then the captain can come in.
Come on, Cap.
You forgot to say no homo. Just kidding.
That's why I said.
Anyway, we got some hellos here in the live chat. Mike D says hello. Runaway Slave number 4747 says hello, the one bun and Marcus. Honest Conscience Dave says, hey, Marcus and Asher. Good seeing you both. Greetings from Dave in central Wisconsin. I'm a couple hours west of where you are, Marcus.
Couple of hours? Wisconsin is that close
Oh,
to
no.
Texas?
No. He says, I'm a couple hours west of where you, Marcus, met up with Daniel Weeb. And is it Weeb or Weeby?
I don't
Weeba?
know how to pronounce it.
I don't know how to pronounce it either. I'm sorry, Dan.
But I know who you mean.
But yeah, and Amy K a couple of years ago. So yeah, he says you're.
Yeah, we were in Milwaukee, right? I think that was Milwaukee, and Milwaukee's nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know Milwaukee was that nice. I went through downtown Milwaukee, kind of looked around, saw a little bit of the city, and Milwaukee is a nice spot. And it's not what you think about when you think about Wisconsin.
I think about cheese.
Well,
and dairy farms.
Cheese, and I'm thinking about kind of like rural and
Yeah, like farms.
forest or whatever. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the forest too, like the Dells, with the Wisconsin Dells. Yeah.
But that's a certain part of Wisconsin, from what I've been told. I was in the city area, but there's supposedly a part of Wisconsin that's very desolate, where you got bears and everything.
Bears?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Man, Wisconsin
Lions
sounds
and
dangerous.
Tigers and bears, oh my.
Okay, Captain.
So what y'all want to talk about? What are we talking about?
Well, we were talking about like something that Captain brought up a good point on, but he keeps disappearing because he's
Talking about
he's
why
over there
people
fighting
stay
crime.
in Watchtower, why men stay in Watchtower. He's saying that, he can make his point better than me, but he's saying that easy access to women is a part of the reason why men stay. Now, here's kind of coming from my vantage point is I was born and raised Jehovah's Witness. So there was no such thing as a concept of getting women in the organization is easier than getting women outside. I'd never been outside. I didn't, you know what I mean? There's no thought process of I'm going to stay here because it's easy to get women here. In comparison to what? You know what I mean? So I was pretty strict. Once I got into it, I was pretty hardcore, pretty strict. So for me, I don't necessarily think that the born-ins, the people born and raised Jehovah's Witnesses, stay because they feel like it's easier to get women here than it is, anywhere else. How would they even have, what would they have to compare that to?
Yeah.
They've always been Jehovah's Witness, so how is that? How do they think that's easier to get?
Right. I don't know, man. All I know is apparently in the witnesses, status and power are pretty easy to come by as long as you're willing to be a robot. And and then the reward is you have your pick of the JW women, apparently. I know that sounds really horrible, but that's actually the way some people think about it. That's why they stay. It's pretty gross.
It all depends, though. It depends on a lot of different factors. Number one, it depends on how well you get along with the elders in your congregation and who you are. So I could be a well-meaning Jehovah's Witness male that wants to move up in the organization, but if my dad isn't an elder and I don't have any family members with any status or anything like that in the congregation, the elders there may or may not like me. The politics. Now, the problem with that is for a person that's born in, like myself, that really believed it was the truth. I don't know that there's a such thing as politics. So I'm actually spending a lot of time studying, spending a lot of time trying to work on parts, spending a lot of time out in field service, spending a lot of time trying to give the best comments and things like that. And I'm not realizing there's politics involved. I may not get appointed because the elders there may or may not like me. So I've seen that. I've literally seen that. And that's a problem when you're thinking men are there, and we'll get the captain's view in a second. When we're thinking men who are born-ins
What are you doing?
are there for the girls. Honestly, if you don't have girls in your congregation, a lot of times the captain is setting up a whole nother.
I know. What are you doing, man?
We're about to have a whole bunch of cameras set up in
Testing
here.
something. Chill out.
Why
But-
now?
I don't know.
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
I'm just doing it as a test. You're live streaming, so what?
Yeah.
I have a channel.
That is disrupting the
Yeah.
live stream right now, dude.
Then ignore it.
Yeah, we about to have all kind of camera and everything set up, so I'm like,
How's it gonna disrupt
Son, why
anything?
are you doing that right now? That's really disruptive. We can't pay attention and stuff. I can't pay attention.
so long story short, if there aren't any girls in your kingdom hall, and you're super busy with being an attendant and everything like that, then I don't know if that would be enough to keep you in the organization if that was the only reason you were there, because oftentimes, a lot of times, depending on where you're.
Thanks.
I haven't held. You know how long it's been since I've held a mic?
Well, you should be good at it, right?
No, it's been a long time. I'm about as rusty as I can possibly be. So I got a microphone and everything. Feel like I'm doing Bethel comments or something. So if we feel like the motivation for a lot of men in the organization is women, then that's going to partially be true, because motivation of men anywhere is going to be women. One motivation of men anywhere is going to be women. Now, the concept that you're going to have easier access to women in the organization has a lot to do with who you are. Are you a ministerial servant? Are you a pioneer? You know, just going isn't enough. And you can't make them appoint you. You can do all kinds of things, and they'll just come up with different reasons why not to appoint you if they don't want to. So that can be an issue. And then where you're located. I know that a lot of people, from what I can recall, a lot of them dated long distance in Watchtower. So I'm coming up in Ohio. Ohio's not the biggest place in the world, but we had multiple congregations. And sometimes where you are, again, there aren't any sisters your age there or that you're interested in. Or it's hard to date in your congregation because everybody's in your business. So, there's some challenges for men if the only thing you're thinking about is girls. As the reason why you're a Jehovah's Witness. Think about the dating process, right? It's not like, oh, I'm a Jehovah's Witness and I'm a servant, so I can go and just date with 5 women now. You know what I mean? You date one person, people find out about it, and unless it's changed since the last time I've been, once you start dating somebody and people find out you're dating them, you're virtually engaged. You're just dating. But if something happens and you decide that you're not going to continue dating that person, people look at you like you're a bad person, like you must have done something. You know what I mean? Like you broke up an engagement or something and you're just dating. You're just trying to get to know the person. So there's so many hang-ups to trying to get women in Watchtower.
I wouldn't know. I've never tried to get a woman in Watchtower.
Why not? But one other thing to think about is the mindset of the woman. So if you're, let's think about somebody that's not a born-in. Let's think about somebody that has some kind of what Jehovah's Witnesses would think of as kind of worldly knowledge. You know what I mean? And they're going to the Kingdom Hall to get a girl. Here's the problem. One of them is you could end up with someone who really thinks the end of the world is tomorrow. And that is going to affect your life. Think about it. You don't really believe it. If let's just say, for example, you're the guy, you don't really believe that it's the truth, but you're going to the Kingdom Hall to find a woman, right? And she does think it's the truth. She's not going to get a blood transfusion if she needs a blood transfusion. She's not going to want you to have the things that you want that would make you happy because it's unnecessary. You don't need all those material things. You don't need that nice car that you want. You don't need that nice TV. You want to watch movies? Depending on who the woman is, she may have a problem with you watching rated R movies. What are you watching in there? I noticed you got a lot of PG-13 movies. That could break up. If you're trying to marry a Jehovah's Witness and you don't really believe it, but you just want to marry one because you think it's easier, I don't think those things are easy. Living with a cult member, I don't think that would be an easy thing. Now, here's the thing. Ash was, my homie over here, was talking about how there are more women than there are men. When people say that, they immediately think it's easy then. Being a Jehovah's Witness is not easy. Yeah. Let alone being married to a Jehovah's Witness, especially if you don't believe it and you're just there for the women.
But by comparison to like being out in the real world, is it easier? Oh, look at him doing the mic and like, all right.
Yeah, I'm starting to get. It's scary. I haven't been to a Kingdom Hall, oh my goodness, in a long time. But holding a microphone, things like holding the microphone in my hand right now brings back memories. It's that powerful, the effect that it has on you. Where you hold a microphone and you just snap into this personality of, here's Sister Asher, Brother Asher. You have any comment on the C portion there? Yeah. So I mean, yeah.
Oh my goodness. That made me, like, I was triggered. I was like, oh my god, I'm back in the Kingdom Hall. Holy shit.
Yeah. I was about to get punched doing that stuff, triggering people. I did not do that.
That's all right. It's all good, man.
So.
Right. You were saying? We
were talking about women outside of the organization and women inside. So we've talked about some of the problems that people have, and I remember making a video, and one of the points was, if you are out of the organization, don't get sucked back in because you're having problems dating, thinking that it's going to be easier because there's more.
Yeah, don't do that.
Women. I'm telling you, if you've watched any of my videos, you may have heard the experience I had when I called a sister. This is when I was at Central Congregation and wanted to hang out, wanted to talk to her. She went to my congregation. She was cool. And whenever we would be at a gathering, we'd have a lot of fun. So I called her.
Don't mind Spike.
You know what I mean? And, was kind of asking if she wanted to go out sometime. And I didn't use the word court. Do you want a court? You know what I mean? But she told me that she didn't want to date in this system of things, that too many things are going on. The end is too close. And she didn't want to be distracted by dating, because she said, if I start dating, then I know I'm going to get so into it, and that's going to be my focus, and I don't want to do that. Those are the things that you have to deal with inside of Watchtower. There are so many hangups, and it would be such a waste of time for someone to leave Watchtower, go through all that deprogramming, and then go back just to deal with all that and still not end up with a wife or a sister that or a girlfriend that makes you happy. You know what I mean? So.
Wow. Let's see what's going on in the chat.
Yeah, what's going on in the chat? Because I'm just
My goodness.
rambling.
Oh no, everybody likes your rambling, man. That's why they watch you. Let's see here. Joe, I'll fly out to Holly. They're talking to each other.
Oh, that's cool.
So if I marry, this is Runaway she will not approve she will not approve of the movie John Wick. Yeah, probably not.
John Wick is that action movie. Now, it all depends on the woman that you end up with. And here again is the problem. Outside of the organization, you have a vast selection of different personalities, different things that they like. So you can find someone that likes movies like John Wick. Now, are you going to go to the Kingdom Hall and walk up to a sister and just mention some action rated R movie that you watched and how you liked it and what parts did you like? You're not even going to be able to have that conversation at the hall, more than likely, because you're at the hall and you kind of have this persona on. Everybody has this persona on. It's to a certain extent, it's fake. So you're not going to be able to really get to know, and many times you're not going to be able to get to know the woman. You're at the hall, you got on the persona. You're away from the hall, you might have to have a chaperone. And to a certain extent, you're going to still have that persona. And that's how people end up married to people. And they don't even know each other really. That's something that could happen anywhere, but there's probably a high chance of it happening in an organization where people are oftentimes fake, unless you've known that woman for a very long time and she's open to you. Oftentimes people are fake. And oftentimes people kind of rush you into marriage because they think that you might have sex. So the concept also is that you can't date for 2 years. How can you date a woman for 2 years and not have sex? How can you go 2 years with the temptation of having sex? So they want to kind of rush you along there. You know what I mean? About a year in, they're looking at, hey, why aren't you married? You know what I mean? People may not be ready for that then, but they might get pressured into it. So a lot of the marriages that I can recall, especially by people that really did believe in that religion, they had a lot of problems because of the religion. You may have a wife that wants to have kids, but is conflicted because she thinks the end of the world is tomorrow. So I'm not going to have kids. But then if it's not, then I might not be able to have kids. There are so many problems and hangups that come with Watchtower. You're going to want to go door to door. So really, probably the best thing to do is to learn how to talk to people in general. And in learning how to talk to people in general, learn how to talk to women.
Sorry, Spike. Scared the cat off.
You know what I mean? So I was just at a pool hall. When was that? I think that was a couple days ago. I got pictures on my Facebook. And yeah, I was playing pool. There was some ladies playing pool at the pool table next to me. And there were some ladies having a meal at a table a little further on, but where they could see the pool table. And, you know, I started to play pool and then just being friendly and not being creepy. The reason why I say learning how to talk to people, and from there you can learn how to talk to women, is just learning how to be social and not doing anything anti-social. Don't do anything to make the women think you're weird. Don't stare at them.
Yeah, definitely don't do that.
Don't sit there and stare at the woman's butt or breast for a solid 6 minutes and then go talk to her, because now she thinks you're something's wrong with you, right? So it's learning how to be social, be nice, be friendly, smile. You know, I went up to the table and talked to the women there, and talk to both of them. A lot of times women are going to be with their friend. So I talked to them both, and hey, you know what I mean? Why don't you take my shot? Let's see how good you are at pool. And, you know, so she actually takes the pool stick, goes over to the table, and takes the shot. And you know what I mean? If she misses, you can pick with her a little. There's so many different things that you can do. So I talked to them. Then the girls at the other pool table, one of them came over to me. And I think part of that might be them seeing you interact with other people, them seeing you be friendly, them seeing you not do anything strange, so they don't feel intimidated. And some of the time women will come up to you. You know what I mean? Went over to the bar area and talked to some of the women there. And as far as subject, I'm new to Texas, so I'm asking people, you know, what are some of the things that they like to do around the area. And believe it or not, they don't bite your head off. It's not that much. People think it's extremely different from being at the Kingdom Hall. At the Kingdom Hall, you're walking up to people and you're shaking everybody's hand, and yes, everybody's fake. At this pool hall, you kind of observe people. Don't walk up to somebody and they're with their girlfriend. You know what I mean? Don't do anything obviously wrong. But you see a couple of ladies sitting at a table, you smile at them. You notice they look at you and kind of smile back. 9 times out of 10, you sit down and you have a nice conversation and don't do anything weird. Don't stare at them. Don't lick all on your lips while they're talking to you. Don't do nothing weird. You know what I mean? If you don't do nothing wrong, more than likely they won't have a problem with you. So I sat with them, had a whole conversation. They're talking to me about different things, and you know, it's being friendly and moving around and talking to a lot of people. Don't spend a whole lot of time with any one person, because then people might think, well, you know, this guy's hitting on all the women there. He's hitting on everybody. But if you're just friendly with everybody, they're going to, oh, this is just a friendly guy. And that way you get a chance to talk to a lot of people, get a feel for a lot of people.
Check it out, Marcus. Dave says, is this the unevenly yoked with believers and unbelievers Friday night special public live stream talk?
Yeah, the unevenly yoked. If you're XJW, honestly, it would be cool to have some people that have a mate that is still in talk about this. This would be a real good topic of discussion if we have someone and they're married to a Jehovah's Witness and they're out now. They can tell you what that's like. Think about if you're a man and you're awake. You don't want to go door to door. And if we're talking about guys going to the Kingdom Hall just for the girls, you don't want to go door to door. You don't want to do all this stuff, but your wife expects you to do it. To show proper headship, you need to be setting the example. So you need to be up early in the morning on Saturday when they're starting to encourage people to auxiliary pioneer. Now you got to auxiliary pioneer. You got to give, you know what I mean, parts, and you got to comment. You want to just sit home and relax for once. You want to watch the game. You can't. Unless you tell your wife that you're awake, and I don't know how that would go.
I'm sure that would go well.
So yeah,
Like, hey,
I don't think going back to the organization for girls in particular is a good idea, because the organization is too extremist. You're dealing with people who are extreme in their beliefs.
Not to mention the danger, like if you have kids together.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Then not only is that going to be a problem if you ever get divorced, but what happens if the kid needs blood for something?
Yeah.
What happens when the kid leaves the organization themselves and, you know, ends up getting shunned and shit like that?
Mm-hmm.
You know? That's not good. Like, those are things you got to think about when you're trying to pick somebody that's in a religion you don't even believe in.
Yeah. Yeah. Now it may or may if you really just want to find a church girl or a church guy, it may not be as big of a problem if you go to a regular church, because if you go to, let's say, a Baptist church, more than likely, depending on the woman, she's not going to expect you to be a deacon. She's not going to expect you to be inquired. She's not going to expect you to be doing anything but going to church on Sunday. So if you want to be that guy that has a church family, you may or may not believe in it, but you think it's a good thing, and you just want a family that has some kind of a church structure, maybe going to a church that's not as extreme in their beliefs. And there's a lot of different Baptists. So don't go to one of the small extreme Baptist churches where they're extremely strict, and or somewhere where they don't even want you to have electricity or something like that. Go to if that's what you want to do, go to a church that's not going to interfere with your life very much. And you know, a lot of people have bad things to say about Catholics, but one thing about them, from my understanding, is if you don't believe in religion but you just want a religious woman and family for whatever reason, if that be your thing, from my understanding, church on Sunday is like 45 minutes or less than 45 minutes. You go in to the Catholic Church, you do your things, and you have your wafer and your wine, and you bounce. I mean, so that might be something that you get. It's just finding out what you want to do, and understanding that you have the freedom to do it, and understanding that people don't have to agree with you. There's probably people on a live stream thinking, why in the world would you want to go to a church, go to a Catholic church and eat the wafer? And it's like, you don't have to explain that to anybody. You're out of the cult.
Right. Yeah, you do whatever you want.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man. Ash doesn't have to explain nothing.
Yep. I don't got to explain to you why I do what I do, or how I do it, or what I'm doing it, you know, like when I'm doing it. It's up to me now. I'm out of the cult. I don't have a little schedule or rules to abide by that if I don't do them, my whole family's going to stop talking to me, because my family already doesn't talk to me. Yeah. I'm already screwed on that front. Yeah, my family doesn't talk to me. But
I mean, with regards to the people that you hang out with now. So the people you hang out with now, and also Ex-JWs that are starting to mentally completely leave that sort of
you don't have to
thinking.
answer. You shouldn't have to answer to your friends anyway. At least not like that. Not about your personal life. No. I mean, unless it's something like they can see that you're visibly destroying your life, like with drugs or something like that, then maybe it would be understandable if they started questioning you a little bit. But like, other than that, like if it's like, why are you going to a church to date? Like, tell them, mind your own business. I can do what I want.
You can, yeah. That's the beauty of it. Would you want to give up that?
I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm just saying they don't have to. They don't have.
Yeah, we're not saying it's a good idea. We're saying it's up to you. If that's what you want to do, you can go do it. Do you want to give up that freedom? You have got the freedom to go to a church right now, stay for 5 minutes, and leave if you want. You want to give up that freedom. You got the freedom to go to a church and talk to the women there if you want, or if you are religious. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? You got your pick of different churches and things like that. So why would you want to give up all that freedom that you have to go back to Watchtower because, quote unquote, they have a lot more women than they have men, which they might, but it's a small religion. You know what I mean? They're spread out. There might not be any at the hall that you're at.
There are only like, apparently, what is it, 5.5 million now witnesses?
I don't know for sure, but that sounds
That's word on the street.
that sounds a whole lot more believable than 8 million.
Yeah, it certainly does. They've been padding their numbers for a while now.
5 million makes me kind of want to laugh, man, because if you look up almost any global church, that 5 million is smaller than darn near everybody, and their whole focus is getting people in. That's the whole religion, is knocking on everybody's door, waking everybody up, getting them all in, and they're
right.
You can hear crickets in the hall. You know what I mean?
Like, that's the whole point you guys exist.
Like, what y'all been doing for 100 years? You ain't got no members in the Kingdom Hall anymore.
Right, you're slacking. Get to work, guys. Shame on y'all.
What they talking about on there now?
Oh, I was just looking through the old messages to see if I could find where somebody had said how many there were in there, but I guess it disappeared. Anyway, but yeah, shit, that was like, that was a really interesting discussion about like all that stuff. Like Evie earlier said, my advice: date worldly women. Date worldly women. Yeah, I would date worldly women if I were you too. Don't not, you know. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with like dating a religious woman who's technically worldly by witness standards anyway. But like, I don't know. I wouldn't go getting yourself involved in a religion just because you're lonely and you want a partner. Find a partner, you know, the good old-fashioned way, by going out and doing things that you're interested in and participating in a lot of stuff like that. Go out and just have fun, and eventually you'll run into somebody who likes to do the same stuff you're doing.
Yeah.
And boom, you can hook up. Great. Perfect.
The hookup is a good way too. You got friends that know somebody, and oftentimes they know you. They know the other person. They know your personalities. They're like, they would be pretty good together. The hookup can be an easy way of kind of getting your foot in the door as far as meeting people to date. But then nowadays, and it's been a minute since I've been in the the online dating thing, but nowadays there's apps for dating. There's dating sites.
And a bunch of them.
Like, get out of here. You don't have to necessarily go out to a club or a bar or some kind of a social event at a church necessarily to meet anybody, because there are a lot of dating sites. And then just like, we're on the camera here, you can go from talking to somebody online to having Skype calls or Google Hangout calls and seeing each other, and then go from there to... There's a lot of different ways to meet somebody, but working on yourself, I think, is a good way. Working on you is a good way to meet other people, especially that would be interested in a romantic fashion. Because if, you know what I mean, I go out and my glasses are crooked and fogged up, and I go up and walk and talk to a girl and my shoes are mismatched and whatnot, probably going to have not so much success. But if everything is right to the best of my ability, and I go up and I speak to someone and I smile and I say hello, the chances are higher. That's why I'm saying become more social, if nothing else, just to talk to people, practice being social. Practice being aware of what other people are thinking about you, and that kind of helps in the dating scene. Now, you could be the type of person, you could be a cool person like Ash and not give a flip what anybody thinks, and you're going to pull all the women and whatnot. But little scrubs like me, I've got to put forth some effort there. You know what I mean?
Marcus, you're just holding out for somebody really good. That's all.
Right. But yeah, no, that's my thought on
dating and all that. Going back to the organization for the purpose of dating.
Waste of time.
Candace says, "Hi, I'm never up this late."
How late is it there? Where are you at?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not even that late here. It's what, 10:42? Not that late.
I know, Candace.
Yeah.
What's up, Candace? I know it's hot where you are because I got stranded over there once. I don't want to say where you are. I don't know if you want everybody to know where you are, but I was stranded where you are once, and it was hot. It was super hot.
Let's see here. Dave says, "Why, as a person who just woke up last year, would you try to date a deeply indoctrinated JW sister with all the strings attached? Sure, being divorced from a JW after 14 years, I get a tempting thought, but no." Oh, and apparently she's in Tennessee, by the way.
Who?
Candace.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, that's what
I just wasn't saying it because I don't know if she wanted everybody to know where she was.
Well, she said it in the chat, so.
Yeah, I know where she is. That's where I was stranded. It was super hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of strings attached. There's a lot of strings attached with that organization, and also too, think about if you're the type of guy that I am, you don't like everybody in your business. I'm pretty open, but as far as, and that's just because it's just me, but as far as a relationship,
Yeah.
I don't want everybody in my business. And if you are trying to date as a Jehovah's Witness, they gonna be in your business, and the elders are gonna be all up in your business. And the person you're trying to date, they might be telling the elders your business. If they ask her, she may be telling them your business. There's so many things that are detrimental to being successful with that. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are detrimental to that. So it's a crapshoot. So really,
Yeah, elders can be weird. Like I was dating in the org once, and this was like a long distance relationship, and they made me give the guy's contact info to them.
I believe it.
And I was
I
like,
believe it.
I had never had that happen to me before. I was like, what?
Yeah.
And I guess it's maybe because I was an adult at this time, so they were just like really obsessed with it, and they took it more seriously. And you know, they contacted the dude, and the dude, they also talked to his elders and shit, and they were like, they basically told him not to date me until I was baptized.
Yeah. That's huge. That's huge. I have a friend who was born and raised Jehovah's Witness, and they were dating someone in the hall. Now, here's the thing. They were born and raised Jehovah's Witness and been one their whole life, but wasn't baptized. And they're dating someone who really was on the same page as that person. They're the same age. They've been around the organization around the same amount of time. They knew the same stuff. They were studying their watchtowers together with chaperones and everything, of course. And don't you know, the elders broke it up. They broke it up because she wasn't baptized. And they assumed that the reason why she was even going was to date this person. It's not their business at all. But they jumped all up in this person's relationship and literally broke it up. For nothing. For no reason at all, other than they think that she's going to the hall just to date him. So let's break it up. You can't.
That's pretty much what they thought about me, actually.
Yeah.
I'm like, yep, you're just coming back just to date. That's it.
Let's talk about fun stuff. Let's talk about dating XJWs.
Oh,
How many thousands of XJWs have you dated?
1,400. So that's only 1,000.
That's a low number for somebody that's super cool. You know what I mean? The cool kids.
I'm trying to keep my standards really high. I'm just kidding.
You dated all the XJW. You dated that many, 1,400.
No, I haven't dated much, really. I have not. In fact, it's just dating in the XJW world is tricky. I honestly kind of recommend that you really don't, unless you really know the person and they seem really, balanced and okay, because I don't know if you've noticed, but when people come out of the organization for a long time, they have a lot to deal with. So maybe adding a relationship to that isn't really for the best. So I don't know. I mean, sometimes it works out, and sometimes you guys can grow together and get and heal together and all that, and that's fine. But for some people that tends to be an obstacle too. So I don't know. You just got to be careful. That's what I always say. Be careful. In fact, speaking of being careful, just be careful in the community in general. Like the people that you speak to and trust, and the people you give your money to, and the people that you meet up with. Like Marcus has talked about in his videos recently, you got to be careful. You can't just, immediately trust everybody because they left the same cult that you did. I mean, some people got kicked out for legitimate reasons. Some people got kicked out because they actually are, like, abusers or criminals or whatever.
It's possible.
And some people are really good at hiding the fact that they're that way. And so we just don't know. So you just got to be careful. Look after yourself. Take precautions. Let people know where you're going. Just, I don't know. Just practice basic safety. That's my advice for the day. Be safe. Right, Marcus?
Yeah, that's good advice. I mean, because the online thing is cool. We could chat online all day and night. You know what I mean? On a live stream, on live. We could talk online in the groups, hang out. There was a group that I got involved in not. I was awoke, but I was still recovering, and it was a group where we all exchanged numbers. It was a group where we talked about everything. You know what I mean? I went from not being able to talk to anybody about anything to being able to talk to people about everything, and then they're talking to me about everything. So that group was freaking awesome. The only parts where you start to need to be a little cautious is when you're physically meeting people, and then of course also giving out your number, especially if it with the male female dynamic, because keep in mind with the JWs, you start talking to a girl, you're dating.
I know, yeah.
So someone that's fresh out, and this is a guy, and you're a girl, and it might be vice versa, the girl and the guy, or what, however it is, they might start talking to you, and because you spend a lot of time talking to the guy, or you spend a lot of time talking to the girl, based off the XJW background, they might feel like, okay, well, we're dating, or you know what I mean, this is mine when it's not theirs. So you know what I mean. I'm actually a part of other groups online, Facebook groups that don't have anything to do with religion necessarily. And what I've noticed is it isn't very much different. It's the same. You go to other groups on Facebook and hang out, make friends there. Y'all could chat. Y'all could send each other messages in your inbox. The online world is virtual. It's a virtual world. You can't, you got to be careful, but you don't have to be as careful in the virtual world as you have to be in the real world. And one of my friends, I won't name her name, but a lot of you guys know her. She's super cool. I went to go visit her at her house. And I don't think the two of us had physically met at that point. And her sister was weary. Like, who is this guy? Her sister's smart. Who is this guy? We don't know him. Why is he coming over? And I ended up coming over because I didn't know that her sister was worried. So I come over, hang out, chat, and the whole time I didn't know her sister had a knife behind her. She had a freaking knife. So I'm visiting someone, and somebody's got a knife. I mean, anything could have happened. I could have looked at him the wrong way. You know what I mean? I could have sneezed, and they thought I was coming towards them, and I'm getting stabbed up. You know what I mean? You just have to be careful. That's
good thing you didn't make no
life.
Holy crap.
Now, she's a good person. From my understanding, her sister is a good person. I think I'm a good person. I'm not as cool as Ash is, but I think I'm a good person. So all in all, we all ended up being good people. But you can be a good person and meet up with other good people that you don't know, and things go wrong. Yeah. You know what I mean? It can happen.
Just a misunderstanding, really, right?
It can definitely happen. It can definitely happen. I've seen people try with the best intentions. They have good intentions, but things aren't thought out as much, and it can end badly. You just have to be real careful. Just be thoughtful, really.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Just be thoughtful, because the XJ, you go from the virtual world where you're telling people everything and you're hanging out and you're partying, and you get back to the virtual world and you tell them everything and you're best buds, and you don't realize you don't know this person. And that can. I hopped in the car with a guy once, and for kind of like a meetup or whatever, and he looked like he was plastered, man. So we're in the car, and he's and I'm kind of looking at a speed thing, and I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at the speed thing, and I'm looking at him. And this dude's eyes, he looked like he was high as heck. I didn't know him, so I wouldn't have known to look out for that sort of thing. You just got to be careful. You got to be careful anywhere with people you don't know. But yeah, it's not to say anybody has bad intentions necessarily. Because I don't think that guy had bad intentions. He just wanted to hang out, but he was lit. You know what I mean? And to him, being lit was probably normal, and driving and being lit was probably normal. To me, it wasn't. People are different. You don't know that online. You're not gonna know online that people drive lit.
Oh, don't worry.
I thought that was a cat.
No, it's just dude. Yeah.
I was getting pounced on.
No. My goodness, yeah. Being in that kind of situation where you don't.
I think you should date Ex-JWs though, because I'm Ex-JW. I don't agree with Asher.
Yeah, he's like, you have to date me. Everybody out there, don't listen to Ash. I'm totally fine to date.
I am fine to date.
He is fine to date.
You don't have to date me, but I am fine to date.
He's perfectly fine. I've hung out with him. He seems normal, ladies. It's all right. Don't worry.
Your cat likes me, so I gotta be normal.
Yeah, he's normal. He ain't done any crazy things like pull any knives or anything like that, or try to grope anybody. At least not that I've seen. The jury's still out, though. If you'd like to report Marcus, please call 911. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't tell him that, because you're gonna have some random person that's not even Ex-JW
right,
in there.
Right. They're gonna go call the cops on you. Don't report shit that didn't happen.
Have
but please.
SWAT surrounding the house.
Yeah, I don't want to encourage false reports, but I do want to strongly encourage that if something has happened to you in this community and it's a crime, please report it to the police. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't be afraid of these people. Even if they're somebody very prominent, don't be afraid of them. Just report it to the police. Don't worry about, any backlash or anything. If it really happened, you need to report it. End of story. Right, Marcus?
Yeah, but what's prominent is what's my question.
Oh, no, I'm saying, don't
You know what
worry
I mean?
about the person in the community if everybody knows them and likes them a bunch, is what I'm saying. Don't worry that people aren't going to believe you just because of that.
Saying.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry. Just, if it's a real thing that happened, that's all you got to worry about.
But that's why you also want to have. You don't want. It's easy to make friends in the Ex-JW community coming out of the cult, but you want that to be a transition where you have that as kind of a safety net. Your Ex-JW friends, and from there you kind of start making other friends. You don't want to go back to being in a situation where all your friends are in any one group anymore. You know what I mean? And then you don't really have to worry about that, because to be honest, I've had kind of run-ins with people who I may have been cool with or may have had plans to be cool with, and if there's a clash there, it's okay to just be like, hey, let's just go separate ways. You know what I mean? Let's just don't call me no more. I'm not gonna call you no more. Right. Click. You need to be able to do that, and you can't do that if you're in a situation where all your friends know this one person, or all your friends are like this one person because they're all in one group. You know what I mean? I've been able to, people that I know for a long period of time, I'm not going to, it would take a lot, for me to end a friendship. But somebody I hardly know, and they're popping off or they're talking any kind of way, you know what I mean? It's not that big of a deal. But it is a bigger deal if you ain't got no other friends. That's why being social is important. And starting a watchtower word or organization word, widen out in your association.
No. Triggered.
Yeah, she's triggered. I'm going to get popped over here.
Yeah, you're going to get popped. Right in the mouth. Oh my goodness. Anyway, my God. It's almost 11 o'clock. We had a long discussion. It's been like an hour, but that's good.
The freaking clock is broke, man.
Oh, what, over there?
The big one right there is broke. I didn't know it was no freaking 11. I'm looking at the time like, oh man, it's not even that late here. We hadn't been talking that long.
No, man. But yeah, it's been a good discussion. An hour is a pretty good, it's a good discussion, I think. We had a lot of good points.
Y'all need to wind that clock.
Oh, I don't even know. I think that thing takes batteries or something. And they probably haven't changed in about 1 billion years.
Freaking clock. About this freaking big, man, and it's way off.
No kidding.
And I'm looking at it and it's saying it's like, what, 8 something? 8:35?
Oh, it ain't no 8:35. It's 10:57. Did you have any closing thoughts you want to share with us?
Closing thoughts? That's a Watchtower word.
That's an everything.
You closing comments or closing thoughts or closing discussion? Not really.
Not really. He's like, nah, I'm good.
Nah, I mean, we didn't really plan this. We was just hanging out, eating some tacos, and we always was saying that we was gonna make some videos.
Yeah, and we still are. In fact,
Like that.
I think we're still gonna try to make this weekend, right? We're still gonna go and. You want to do that tomorrow, or you want to go on Sunday?
I want to advertise all our
I just said
007 stuff. You know what I mean?
we're going to a thing.
And telling everybody, because J Dubs could be watching. They gonna call him and be like, "Look for this guy. He looks like that. I got a picture of him pointing at the camera with his microphone and water. And look for this girl. We don't know who she is. She's got sunglasses on."
Yes, and I didn't tell him where we were going. I just said that we are going, probably, to some place.
Yeah, we planning on
doing some stuff.
doing some stuff. You know, XJW stuff. You know what I
XJW
mean?
stuff. But it's going to be fun stuff. Well, fun for us, probably not for them.
You know how XJWs are. We get together, we get the cameras out, we make videos, and then we plot
Yeah, we're plotting on the dubs.
to take over Watchtower.
We're going to go rolling on some dubs. We're going to roll on dubs. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right, man. Well, thanks for hanging out, man. It's been a good, like I said, long, nice chat. We covered a lot of cool stuff, and
Talk for forever.
I'm sure we got at least one date for you from the stream.
Who?
No, I'm just kidding.
Let me put the number. Let me get your number right here.
He's like, let me just write that down real quick. before
This
we
is
go.
throwing me off because the computer is doing different stuff than that is.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's
that's
because
because
there's
the
a
camera.
delay. This is us on the streaming software, and then this is us being monitored on the actual
Yeah, it's
computer.
throwing me off.
Yep.
It's easy to throw me off.
Well, anyway, thanks a lot, Marcus. It was cool to have you here. He's badass. You should all go and subscribe to his channel if you don't already. I'm sure you do, because if you subscribe to me, there's no way you aren't already subscribed to Marcus, because he's way cooler than I am.
No, Ash is cooler. I think a lot. You know what I mean?
He
And
thinks a lot, and he shares it a lot, too.
I end up getting into like deep discussions and whatnot with people over things. I don't really do it as much on Facebook anymore, but we can talk on Facebook if you want to talk on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
But I get into more deep discussions, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and we like that. We love hearing from Marcus and all his little thoughts that he's got going on. He's got a lot of cool stuff that he says and thinks about and discusses. He likes to bring up important stuff, too, that other people don't want to talk about sometimes. And I respect that. Because, not everybody has the nerve to bring certain things up. And that's cool.
I don't know. I think that's part of our upbringing, though, is being able to go up to some strange person's door and tell them that they're in the wrong religion and all that stuff. And if you kind of grow up doing that, you it's easy to kind of speak your mind to a certain extent. You know what I mean? Because you're so used to doing it.
Maybe.
Well, not your mind necessarily, because you're programmed to say cult stuff, but.
All right, let's close with a prayer.
No.
Just kidding. I'm kidding. But all right, guys.
Ash have to do it.
I'm going to let y'all go and have a good rest of the Friday night, that whatever's left over. You're probably all out watching this
It's 11
tomorrow.
o'clock. We can still go out.
You're
Still
probably,
plenty of
yeah,
time.
y'all are probably watching this tomorrow. You aren't even watching this right now when it's happening, because y'all are out partying, except for the few of you who are here with us. Thank you for being with us. All right, well, we'll talk to y'all later, and we will definitely come back at some point with more
Somebody
videos.
thought we were a couple earlier today.
Oh, that was
Ash
weird.
didn't tell the story.
No, that's because that was a really strange. It was just a
Very
random dude.
strange, random man.
Yeah, he just came up to us and he was
Touched me.
Like, he was like, "She's beautiful."
He did.
Like,
He gave me the thumbs. We were sitting next to each other at the taco place.
I was just shoving a big ass burrito in my face.
And the captain, you guys, I guess, know who that is. I was just told to say that. The captain was sitting right there, too. And the guy came over and kind of gave me the thumbs up and was like, "Oh, she's beautiful, man." So I'm guessing he thought that we were a thing. And I'm
That's
like,
very strange.
"Okay, guy." And then he came back over and touched my shoulder and was like, you know what I mean, type of a thing.
People are weird, man.
And I'm like, "Dude, you touched me." You know what I mean?
It's like, okay, well, thank you for
Don't
that.
do that.
I'm gonna have to burn that.
He looked
together.
weird, too, right?
He was
He's
a strange looking dude.
very strange, and he was smiling at us and everything.
He was a strange man. But yeah, good lord, we we really do need to find some carts. They all hide.
Oh yeah,
Hide.
I haven't found any cars.
All those cart crashes I've been posting lately, guys, those are all old from like the past couple months, and that's like ever since those, it's been really difficult to find them around here. They don't like me anymore. I think I scared them all off. Those ladies in that one hour-long crash, they never came back, even though they said they were going to. They told me they would be there next weekend, and they did not show up, nor did they show up for the following several weekends. So I'm very disappointed, and I did show up. So, meh. Alright, guys. Well, you take it easy, and y'all have a good night, and we will see you again at some other point when we do some more cool stuff. Take it easy.